This right here is one of the more unique pieces that I've done. There's a lot of symbolism inside of it. This picture right here, it actually came from an old black and white daguerreotype. It might have been a daguerreotype, maybe it was just a photograph, but it came from a picture of Geronimo. See, you have the mittens in Monument Valley behind, underneath a starlit sky with clouds. And then you have the twin faces of both the sun, and I'm assuming that's the moon. I could never really tell. I don't really remember what it was I was thinking when I make these things. This right here, this is symbolic of the little corn stalk. I don't know, like for at least our tribe, corn is one of those staple crops. And I guess like most agricultural civilizations, we tend to deify everything that goes into it. Actually plays a major part in our myths and legends. And this right here is a stylized medicine staff. I don't really set out to make anything mean really anything. It's purely for aesthetic purposes. Sometimes I look at these things and I think to myself, I don't even know how the fuck I came up with it. But that is a feather, yet it's not really a feather, it's a shape. If you look at it closely, it's a negative space sort of thing, and you have here and here and here and here, and they're all spaced, you know, little ways away. Going further down this way, behind his head, you have these overlapping little Hopi faces. There's one here and there's one there, and some more of these spiral designs with lightning bolts, more starlight. I didn't really sit across and really want to make anything special when I made this. It's just one of them things that came together as it was. This is one that I did. Might have been like last year. It was a play on the whole Suicide Squad version of Joker, and I mean, I don't know, I guess he was stylized. He's stylistic, he was cooler, you know, the Jared Leto. I've seen every single Batman movie available. I've seen even the Joker movie that had Joaquin Phoenix, and they all really don't quite nail it. Something to note with this picture. I do continue again with the heavy outlines, and instead of using cross-hatching, instead of using comic book styled inking and whatnot, this is kind of like a black and white version of what I was talking about when I said that some artists use regular lines. They don't have much variation in it. They don't have much lines representing tones, and the colorist takes care of all of the depth and the shadows and the shading. It really does put a lot of work on the colorist, but if they're decent colorists and they love what they do, then it's not that hard to do. If I was a black and white colorist, I easily do all this. If you look at the gloves, they're done in such a way to where it's high contrast, somewhat reflective. It has a rough finish, it's not blended. And the same goes with the guns. It has high contrast in between the highlights and the black areas, but it is shaded. It almost gives it a brushed sort of finish. The white areas, right here on the abdominals, the top part of the collarbone, underneath the chin, tops of the hair, right here, this little sheen. Some of these parts right here, just the very top part of the shirt, that's all done with white paint, white acrylic paint. So if you are trying to get that absolute white in one of your drawings for the highlights, and it's black and white, don't be afraid to break out the white acrylic paint. You dilute it just a little bit with water, and you can make magic happen. This one right here, there was a phase in my life where I was going through this hyper detailed, massive geometrical, I don't know, art style. And you can only really find those types of art in pottery and kachina dolls and rugs, Navajo rugs, textiles. It actually started from this right here. Graphite does not work very well with this type of paper. There's a limit to how dark you can get it. But if you look at it, the general premise is this. You are looking on the inside of a giant pot. You see the edges right here, they're broken. Same goes for right here. And I'm assuming there's another pot inside of it with another little globe, a little cup. And then there's light peeking from the outside there, and there's more cracks in it. Like I said, I was into that hyper detailed work. I had a ton of time. Maybe I was unemployed at this time. I'm not really too sure. we tend to do that sort of thing when we have a lot of time, but I digress. This right here, very, very, very clean outlines. Honestly, this is kind of the story of my life, believe it or not. I will do something, right? And I will plot it all out. But here's the kicker. If it starts taking too long, I quit. I stop. I don't finish it. I really don't. I had this big, massive campaign to go over all of my really old art and just try to finish it. This is another one that crashed and burned. Tell you one thing. The way that I drew these people, yeah, I guess you could have that musculature if you didn't have any skin. Superhero stuff, it's always off the wall, man. And the way that this glove is going on right here, with the tons of folds, and you could just see his tendons underneath. You don't see veins like under gloves. This right here, I mean, his costume looks like it was painted on. I believe that I was in a phase where I really wanted to show musculature, because the more you do it, the more accustomed you get to figuring out where everything's placed and how everything gets flexed. I don't do this anymore. This is not human anatomy. I mean, this is just one of those examples where you look back at it and you think to yourself, damn, I'm sure glad that I didn't waste my time finishing that shit. That's the struggle though. Anytime that you're doing anything creative with, like, here's another one more example. I know I'm kind of getting too long in the time here. Shocking, am I right? Well, let me tell you, this was definitely a labor of love. Not only were there decisions that were made about how to contrast colors, you're talking about complementary colors, you're talking about having to bust out the color wheel and seeing that, yeah, okay, well, orange and green, if you can make them right, they will work. You look at the type of the skin, you're looking at tones of, it's got like a yellow sort of tone on it. It has like blue, some white, aquamarine. Overall, it's kind of has that sea green kind of feeling. And the scales, you know, there's ink at the bottom, ink at the top, where they kind of disappear and wrap around the leg, and then just normal colored pencil. This is all colored pencil right here. You're looking at the same way. You have highlights in the bottom down here. It's just, this is fucking beautiful. I don't know how else to say it. This is one of those things where I spent days on it. And on that note, thank you for stopping by. I know this wasn't really a drawing video, but it was kind of me critiquing myself kind of thing. And I guess I just want to say that if you are considering a field in art, don't stop, because you learn something new all the time. And with that, I will leave this. Have a good day. Thank you for stopping by, and I will see you again. Bye.